Hi, Carly. You are going to tell a story on Bodies of Stories number 5. Can you tell us where you are in the world and where you're from?
I'm based in London in England at the moment, but I'm originally from Canada, around Toronto area.
All right, where I am now. And you found Bodies of Stories through Instagram, I believe?
Yeah, so I've been getting involved in the storytelling community in London through the Moth and through a few others that are around as well. I think it's 10 by 9 London, which is another one. And they were promoting other online storytellers or storytelling events that are going online due to everything that's going on in the world and our inability to meet live at the moment for these events.
Yeah. So have you told a story before on stage?
So I've told 2 stories now at the Moth in London. And the first time was kind of like a bucket list thing. I was like, I'm going to do it. I walked in literally still in 2 minds as to whether or not I was even going to do it. And I forced myself to do it. And I was so proud of myself. And I shook so much the entire time, but I got through to the end. And then I really wanted to do it again to improve on that, which I did. And now I don't know, I'm kind of hooked on storytelling. I think I love it.
Yeah. What do you like about stories?
I just think that they're how we make sense of the world. So I journal a lot as well. And it's a similar kind of exercise of like piecing together narratives in my mind, helping me make sense of things. And I think it's also a very beautiful way to connect to other people. There's something about storytelling that I think opens up a space for empathy and compassion. There's this distance between you and between me and what I think and feel. And when I say I'm sad, do you really get that I'm sad? But when I tell it through a story and I can actually get that emotional journey across such that you feel it, that is so powerful to me.
Mm-hmm. So when you sent me your story, you told me you're a writer. Can you tell us a bit about that?
Sure. So I have wanted to be a writer since I was a little girl. You asked me, what do you want to be when you grow up? So what I've done for now, I don't know, for about 33 years, I didn't write a lot, and I kind of ran in the opposite direction of that dream for a very long time. And then about in the last 2 to 3 years, I've been working on myself and breaking down a lot of the barriers as to why that is in me and my fears of failure and my perfectionism and all the excuses I can come up with to not pursue this. So in the last couple of years, I've been forcing myself through those things and developing my voice as a writer. I feel like I'm still working on that, still finding it. It's a process. So I'm really been on this journey of falling in love with it as a process and not, fixating so much on the nitty gritty of it. And yeah, it took me a really long time to feel like my stories were worth anything and were, valuable or anyone wanted to hear them, and to realize that every story is valid and valuable and it's how you tell it. So I've been learning the skills to try to get some of that more effectively across. And it's been a really interesting journey. So I ghost wrote my first book last summer with an entrepreneur in the States. Which was an amazing opportunity to do something of that scale.
Yeah.
And the second sort of larger piece of work that I have is a book that's coming out in September. And it is a compilation of meditations and exercises for cultivating mindfulness to help with anxiety and stress, something that's possibly a little useful these days.
Yeah.
So those have been kind of the bigger pieces, but it really started about 2 years ago, pushing my stuff out there for the first time. And I was just publishing on Medium. I published a couple of personal essays. I've been drawing a lot on true stories and creative nonfiction to develop my voice, write what you know kind of thing.
Yeah.
Now I'm working a little bit more on fiction and short stories and moving into that as a writer and as a creative. But it's been a big journey and it's been a big spectrum, and I had no idea what these opportunities were or what this journey looks like, when I was sort of stuck in my head and I was like, oh, I always wanted to do this thing, but how do I even start?
Yeah, congratulations for starting the journey, and that's great. That's exciting. What's your process of creating stories for the stage? Do you write them out? How do you find your story ideas? How do they come to you?
I've done a little bit of both, where I write it or I kind of dictate it as a first like dump on the page.
Yeah.
I think I am slightly more of a page writer, just in terms of style, and the way that I like to write. So I think I do tend to, to be more of a page writer. But I have done a story or two where I've just, as a dictation. And in terms of ideas, I find the storytelling events super helpful for that. Because again, you can be thinking in your head, well, like, oh, I'm not interesting, or like, I've got no stories to tell. And then all of a sudden somebody tells you, you have to tell a story on adventure. And then you start thinking, okay, what's the biggest adventure I've ever faced? Everybody's got something. If you stretch your definition of what an adventure is, you've got them in your life. So I've found that the themes have really helped with that. And then some other stories that I've written have really come from me just trying to process things and experiences. Like I said, it's a making sense process for me. So if there's something that has really been a struggle for me, or something that's hit me really hard in my life, I want to kind of write about it and try to make sense of it. So so from those two areas, I get ideas.
Yeah. Oh, that's great. Well, thank you so much. I'm very excited to have you on. It's on May 10th, Bodies of Stories number 5. And so thank you for chatting with me today. I'll see you very soon.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Bye.